Hey you guys, today we will be dividing fractions, and we're going to divide fractions in problem situations. So let's get started. Miss Rivera used 8.5 feet of ribbon to make hair bows. If each bow required 3/4 feet of ribbon, how many bows did she make altogether? Well, we know how much material she started with, 8.5 feet of ribbon. That's how much she had to start with. And each bow takes 3/4 feet of ribbon. So that means that we want sections of 3/4 because we're going to make how many bows she made altogether. So we're going to take 8.5 feet, which is the total that she started with, and we're going to split it into sections of 3/4 of a feet. That means we're dividing because we're each bow, evenly splitting it into sections of 3/4. So this is a division problem, and if you notice, it's a fraction division problem. So let's look at the steps for dividing fractions. Most of them are the exact same as multiplying fractions. There's just one thing that's different, and I'm going to point it out when we get to it. So step 1, change mixed numbers and whole numbers to improper fractions, just like we did with dividing. So we use Texas. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17, over 2, divided by 3/4 is all ready to go. 3/4. This is the part where you just have to remember this one thing. This is the only thing you have to remember that's different when dividing fractions. We cannot divide fractions. We can't do it. So we have to change multiplication to division. Since multiplication and division are opposite operations, they undo each other. We are going to change multiplication to division, but then we have to reciprocal or flip the second fraction. So the only thing you need to remember when dividing is keep, change, reciprocal. Keep, change, reciprocal. So in order to divide, we have to change division to multiplication and then flip or take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we're going to keep 17/2, that stays the exact same. Change our division into multiplication. And since we changed division to multiplication, we have to flip or take the reciprocal of 3/4. The reciprocal just means that your denominator is now going to be your numerator, and your numerator is now going to be your denominator. So you just flip that fraction over. You have to make sure you do the first step of Texas before you do the reciprocal or flip. So 17 over 2 stayed the same, division changed to multiplication, and we flipped over, took the reciprocal of 3/4, that changes into 4/3. This is the only new thing. The rest of it's the exact same as multiplication. Multiply our numerator straight across. 17 times 4 over 2 times 3. That's the same as 4 times 17 over 2 times 3. And we can simplify that. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 times 17 is 34. 1 times 3 is 3. Exact same as multiplication. And then we just simplify, change any improper to mixed, and write the answer with units. Again, the exact same as with multiplication. So we have 34/3. This is improper. The big 34 is smushing the 3. So 34 divided by 3. 3 goes into 3 once. 1 times 3 is 3. Notice I am going to bring down this 4 because I'm not adding a decimal and a 0. So I can bring down that 4 to keep going. 3 goes into 4 once. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. This is where I'm going to stop before I bring down that 0 since we're doing fractions. So that's 11 and 1 part out of our 3 total left. So our answer is 11 and 1/3 bows. Now our question is asking us how many bows did she make altogether. 1/3 of a bow doesn't count. So if this were on a test, you would say she could have made 11 and 1/3 bows, but that's only 11 total bows because nobody wants 1/3 of a bow.